Chen Pingyan that he had to act as Hao Wuchai, the master of the Martial Reservoir sect who had unfortunately died recently. Chen Pingyan wondered if he was the guy he had to pretend to be and believe that he was poisoned. Another message from the system popped up, stating that Chen Pingyan's mission was to help the Martial Reservoir sect become a 4th-rank sect. A man arrived and called out Hao Wuchai. Chen Pingyan surprised the man by turning to look at him. The man unsheathed his sword and asked Chen Pingyan what he was doing with their sect master. Nervous, Chen Pingyan asked the man if he would believe him if he said that he had just arrived. The man was furious and told Chen Pingyan that he dared to humiliate his intelligence and was about to attack him. Chen Pingyan unknowingly unleashed his Tathagata God Palm, which surprised the man. The man was pushed through the wall, making Chen Pingyan wonder if his Tathagata God Palm would be that strong just by adding 10 threads. Outside, a group of people were concerned, wondering why there was an attack from the sect master's room and what was going on. Chen Pingyan then thought that it looked like he had to return to the mortal world to better understand his mission. Meanwhile, at Chen Pingyan's house, the wooden sword informed the bronze sword that it appears teaching him a lesson is insufficient. The bronze sword was terrified, asking the wooden sword for mercy. The wooden sword quickly disappeared and told the bronze sword to wait. Chen Pingyan arrived and was greeted by the bronze sword, who was relieved and told that he was back. Chen Pingyan asked the bronze sword what was going on. The bronze sword told Chen Pingyan that he was fine and asked him to summon Chopper as he had something to ask of him. He claimed that the occurrence is something that Chopper couldn't get away with. Confused, Chen Pingyan told the bronze sword that if he had something to tell him, he could always help him get justice. The bronze sword responded that it was just some personal thing. Chen Pingyan summoned Chopper and told the bronze sword that he would pay no mind and told them to have a good talk. The bronze sword, crying, told Chopper if he must have told the wooden sword something. With a goofy look, Chopper believed that the wooden sword must have looked for the bronze sword and told the bronze sword that he actually didn't say anything, and that all he did was look for a reason to get rid of her by saying that he was attracted to the bronze sword. He assured the bronze sword that he doesn't have to worry as the wooden sword would eventually give up. Anxious, the bronze sword scolded Chopper on why he said all those things. Chopper retorted and told the bronze sword to bear with it, and fighting with her would also do him good. Crying, the bronze sword declined, telling Chopper that he must find a way to help him, or else he would die. Chopper gave him an idea, telling him that all the bronze sword had to do was hide in Chen Pingyan's ring, and the wooden sword wouldn't be able to get him. The bronze sword's eyes shined, and he thanked Chopper for helping and said that he was going to Chen Pingyan to beg. The peach tree informed Chopper that the wooden sword was tenacious and asked him if she would give up so easily. Chopper replied that he didn't know. After a while, at the God Realm Martial Reservoir sect, the man mumbled that the sect master had been poisoned. Although he saw Chen Pingyan's face, he was not able to catch him, and that the Martial Reservoir sect couldn't go a day without a master and asked his 2 companions if they would take the position, as he was injured and couldn't carry the responsibilities. The second elder told the elder to stop pretending. He was just afraid that when he became the sect master, the intruder would target him. He added that he wouldn't send someone to death and that the second elder better stop his vicious thoughts. The elder stood up and was furious, threatening the second elder that he would be spitting blood. He was interrupted by the third elder, ordering them to stop arguing and that he had someone in mind. The elder and the second elder wondered who. The third elder told them that the sect master's son, Hao Wuchai, was the one. The elder cheerfully mumbled that it was only right and proper for the son to continue his father's duty, and that he was going to get Hao Wuchai at the time. Chen Pingyan arrived at the Martial Reservoir sect using a disguise mask, pretending to be Hao Wuchai. He mumbled that he was lucky to have the mask, and he didn't know what he would have done without it. He wondered if he had reached the God Realm and was perplexed by the abundance of threads of heaven and earth. Chen Pingyan continued, saying that he was fortunate to have brought most of the peak immortal weapons with him, otherwise he would have been in trouble. The second elder called Chen Pingyan and asked where his communication talisman was, and why he hadn't responded when contacted. Perplexed, Chen Pingyan apologized to the second elder and inquired if he knew him. The second elder was bewildered by Chen Pingyan's lack of recognition. Chen Pingyan informed the second elder that he had suffered an injury some time ago, resulting in memory loss. He could only remember his name. The second elder smirked, thinking it was a great opportunity to use him, given his memory loss. He told Chen Pingyan to follow him, saying he would explain everything. After some time at the Mo family residence, Dao Zhatian reported to Mo Huang that the neighboring sect masters had been replaced with their men. But the Martial Reservoir sect couldn't replace the sect master due to an accident, and they couldn't retrieve the sect master's body. Mo Huang ordered Dao Zhatian to leave it be, mentioning the heavy losses they had suffered due to the relocation. Dao Zhatian understood and asked Mo Huang if it was necessary, considering that Chen Pingyan was just a kid from the immortal realm. Mo Huang informed Dao Zhatian that he had never encountered such a powerful aura from someone he didn't understand. Whenever he recalled the past, he felt a chill down his spine, as if his head was gone. Meanwhile, at the Martial Reservoir sect, the elder informed Chen Pingyan that the sect master had been poisoned by an intruder, and he would continue his father's duties. Chen Pingyan wondered if the body he saw was that of the sect master. He thought about using his influence as the son to elevate the sect's rank, but he would eventually become the sect master. Chen Ping'an declined the elder's offer, explaining that his cultivation was too low and people wouldn't listen to him. He realized he couldn't get too excited and decided to pretend for a while. The second elder cheerfully assured Chen Ping'an that he didn't need to worry about the sect's affairs, as they would handle them. Chen Ping'an started to wonder why the elders were so enthusiastic and suspected that they were afraid of being poisoned. He smirked, realizing it was the perfect opportunity, and told the elders he would do as they said. After a while, Chen Ping'an placed the broom down and instructed it to stay in the room and notify him if someone entered and tried anything. The broom asked Chen Ping'an not to forget it as he left. Chen Ping'an sat down and mumbled that it was a good thing he pretended to have lost his memories, otherwise, he wouldn't have known if they were in the god realm. He opened his ring and muttered that he hadn't expected the spiritual source to be valuable, and even the low-grade spiritual force he possessed was enough for others to kill for. Chen Ping'an wondered why the object inside the spiritual force resembled threads of the power of heaven and earth and how he could add another thread to it. Chen Ping'an had an idea of adding another thread to it, which worked. He mumbled that, according to the elder's method of distinguishing the grade of spiritual source, it seemed to be a top-grade spiritual source. Chen Ping'an giggled and muttered that he was now rich. He went on to say that he had to go to the 1,000 Treasure Chamber of Commerce that the elder mentioned to buy treasures to enhance his abilities. Chen Ping'an claimed that after some time in the God Realm City, he felt more at ease with his own face and that he was fortunate that no one there knew who he was. He thought that he had to look around, he would go to the Chamber of Commerce and hope that they had something similar to the immortal spiritual source. Dao Zhatian turned and noticed Chen Ping'an. Mo Huang asked Dao Zhatian what was going on. Dao Zhatian told Mo Huang that he had just seen someone who looked the same as Chen Ping'an. Shocked, Mo Huang asked him if it could be the master of the powerful one-hitting spiritual weapons. With a grim look, Dao Zhatian added that he might be wrong. Mo Huang ordered Dao Zhatian not to look back, and as long as he didn't stop them, it meant that they were not part of Chen Ping'an's plan. He went on to say that they must quickly leave. Chen Ping'an was perplexed as to why he seemed to have seen the man who had given him so much treasure. He turned back and saw no one, muttering that it looked like he was wrong. He decided to set it aside, thinking it was better for him to go directly to the Chamber of Commerce and buy something before he ran into any enemies. After some time, at the 1,000 Treasures Chamber of Commerce, Mo Huang and Dao Zhatian arrived, making the crowd uncomfortable. A man stepped forward and told Dao Zhatian that they couldn't teleport inside the 1,000 Treasure Chamber of Commerce. Dao Zhatian retorted and told the man to cut the nonsense and asked him to bring out the branch elder, as Mo Huang had a business offer he wanted to discuss. Upset, the man told Dao Zhatian that he was insane. Dao Zhatian released his aura and told the man not to make him repeat what he said. A man quickly ran and kneeled in front of Dao Zhatian, apologizing for not greeting them after their long trip. He told them that the Chamber of Commerce guards were ignorant and hoped that they would not blame him for whatever their requests were, and that he would do his best to help them. Dao Zhatian informed the branch elder that they had a business offer they wished to discuss with the 1,000 Treasure Chamber of Commerce. Yangji informed Dao Zhatian that the 1,000 Treasure Chamber of Commerce was under the Eternal God Emperor. He turned around and noticed another teleportation, which made him wonder why there was another one and why they didn't stop. Mo Huang and the others turned around. Chen Ping'an arrived at the Chamber of Commerce. Yangji was furious and scolded Chen Ping'an, knowing that teleporting inside the 1,000 Treasure Pavilion was prohibited. Chen Ping'an was confused when Yangji called the guard to teach him a lesson. The guards obliged, stating that they understood. Yangji told Dao Zhatian to allow him to continue and thought that if he couldn't help someone at the God Sovereign stage, there was no hope for Chen Ping'an, who was at the crossing period. Dao Zhatian and Mo Huang kneeled and told Chen Ping'an that he was the one who tampered with the items he had given them. They begged Chen Ping'an to spare them and explained that they hadn't meant to eavesdrop. They hoped Chen Ping'an would show mercy and spare them, and that they were willing to serve him. Yangji was terrified and wondered if he had messed with someone he wasn't supposed to. He kneeled and told Chen Ping'an that he had been stupid and that Chen Ping'an should just consider it as bluffing. Chen Ping'an was perplexed, wondering what was going on and if Wang Chenglin had told them something to deceive him. He believed that since they had given him a tampered item, he should ask for compensation. If he didn't take this opportunity, he wouldn't gain anything. He claimed that he had checked the spiritual source and found no problems, so it could only mean that the dagger had been tampered with, leading him to believe it was a fake spiritual weapon. Chen Ping'an told them that if they thought they could hide the tricks they had done to the pseudo-spiritual weapon from him, they were mistaken. He immediately noticed it when he took it out, and the only reason he spared them was because they still had value. Mo Huang and Dao Zhatian stood up and thanked Chen Ping'an for showing mercy. They assured him that if he gave them an order, they would do their best to complete it. Chen Ping'an thought that the two were still afraid of him and decided to further intimidate them by implying that he had a genuine pseudo-spiritual weapon. He told them that in order to regain his trust, he would give them another chance. He then informed them that one of his juniors currently lacked a spiritual weapon. Mo Huang understood and took something out from his ring. He told Chen Ping'an that it was one of the few pseudo-weapons that the god of the pavilion possessed, and it would be an honor for Chen Ping'an to have it. Mo Huang sighed and bid farewell to his weapon that had fought alongside him for 1,000 years. Chen Ping'an questioned whether Mo Huang had deceived him and whether the pseudo-spiritual weapon was genuine, as it was shaking wildly. Chopper stared at the pseudo-spiritual weapon in shock. Chen Pingyan wondered why it had stopped shaking and why it seemed to be quite sensible. Mo Huang thought that the aura was so terrifying that even spiritual weapons were afraid, and he wondered just how strong Chen Pingyan was. Dao Zhatian also found it terrifying and wondered if it was the same aura Mo Huang had witnessed. Chen Pingyan asked them to stand and stated that he was not there for trivial matters. After some time, Chen Pingyan asked if they knew about the Martial Reservoir sect. Yang Ji agreed and informed Chen Pingyan that it was a fifth-rate sect, although it was still well known. Nervous, Dao Zhatian wondered if Chen Pingyan was somehow related to the sect and had sent someone to kill their sect master. Chen Pingyan asked Dao Zhatian, to which he responded that the sect was weak. Chen Pingyan believed that the strength of the Pavilion of the Gods was not bad and claimed that they would be easy to handle. He told them that he could temporarily let go of their offense under one condition: the Martial Reservoir sect had to become a fourth-rate sect. He wondered if they could do it. Dao Zhatian was relieved and thought that Chen Pingyan wouldn't pursue them. They bowed and assured Chen Pingyan that they would do their best. Chen Pingyan told them to carry on with their own tasks as he had something else to attend to. They bowed again and thanked Chen Pingyan. Chen Pingyan mentioned that since he was pretending to be a senior, it wouldn't be appropriate to discuss treasure at that moment. He said they would talk about it next time. The three simultaneously thought that Chen Pingyan was very terrifying. Mo Huang mumbled that since Chen Pingyan had instructed them to complete their mission as soon as possible, he asked Yang Ji to take him to the Martial Reservoir sect. Yang Ji understood and asked them to follow him. Meanwhile, Wooden Sword was searching for Bronze Sword and wondering where he had gone. Peach Tree noticed Wooden Sword and informed her that Bronze Sword was not there. Wooden Sword asked Peach Tree if she knew where Bronze Sword had gone. Peach Tree asked Wooden Sword not to act like that. Wooden Sword persisted and asked Peach Tree to tell her, claiming that she didn't care. Peach Tree told her that she could tell her but that she couldn't be bothered with him anyway. She informed Wooden Sword that Bronze Sword was with Chopper, hiding in Chen Pingyan's ring. Wooden Sword was stunned, realizing that Chopper and Bronze Sword had gone together without being noticed. Peach Tree couldn't believe that Wooden Sword had misunderstood her words. The Wooden Sword was distressed and mumbled that she could never accept their relationship and that she had to think of something. She got an idea and realized she had to find Zhang Yuxin to approve her plan. Meanwhile, in the mortal world, Chen Pingyan arrived at his house and mumbled that there would be people from that god pavilion to help the Martial Reservoir sect later, and that he could just leave it to them to finish his mission. The Wooden Sword greeted Chen Pingyan, which confused him as to who she was. She thought that Zhang Yuxin had told her that as long as she didn't expose any information, she could do whatever she wanted with the Bronze Sword, and that she just had to wait for Chen Pingyan to hand the Bronze Sword to her. The Wooden Sword introduced herself to Chen Pingyan and said she was also the wife of the Bronze Sword. She went on to say that she came to greet Chen Pingyan and beg him to let her see her husband because she hadn't seen the Bronze Sword in a long time. Chen Pingyan was shocked to learn that the Bronze Sword had a wife. He took out the Bronze Sword and mumbled about why he hadn't been told. The Bronze Sword pleaded with Chen Pingyan to wait. Chen Pingyan was perplexed and told the Wooden Sword that the Bronze Sword seemed unwilling to meet her. The Wooden Sword assured Chen Pingyan and told him that her relationship with the Bronze Sword was deep and that he definitely wanted to see her, but was just shy. She asked the Bronze Sword if she was right. The Bronze Sword nervously agreed. The Wooden Sword told Chen Pingyan that she and the Bronze Sword would reminisce about the past and wouldn't bother him, and then proceeded to teleport. Chen Pingyan mumbled that it seemed like the Bronze Sword was happy to see the Wooden Sword again, and was touched by them. Meanwhile, a beam of light appeared, crushing the Bronze Sword to the ground. The Wooden Sword informed him that she had clearly warned him, but he dared to enter his own world with Chopper and that she needed to teach him a lesson. The Bronze Sword was terrified and asked the Wooden Sword to listen to him because there were other people on Chen Pingyan's ring besides Chopper and him. He pleaded and notified the Wooden Sword that he and Chopper didn't have any relationship. The Wooden Sword released another beam of light towards the Bronze Sword, blowing up the area. Meanwhile, Peach Tree mumbled that the Wooden Sword was really causing a commotion and asked Chopper if he felt guilty. Anxious, Chopper responded that it was a good thing for the Bronze Sword to get beaten up as it was his opportunity. Upset, the Wooden Sword told the Bronze Sword that this time would just be a simple lesson and if he didn't change, she would find him again. The Bronze Sword stood up, blaming Chopper that he almost died because of him. After some time, the Bronze Sword ended up going back to Chen Pingyan's house. Chen Pingyan wondered why the Bronze Sword looked like an empty shell as he had no idea how immortal weapons get intimate. The Bronze Sword was depressed and asked Chen Pingyan not to take him out the next time the Wooden Sword returned. Chen Pingyan mused that the Bronze Sword had been drained and inquired what he could eat to replenish it. Embarrassed, the Bronze Sword told Chen Pingyan that he was clean. At the Martial Reservoir sect in the God Realm, a man was looking for the people of the Martial Reservoir sect. The elders ran and apologized to the man for not greeting him. Mo Huang told the elder that there was no need for him to be polite and that he had come to discuss something with them. The elder asked for Mo Huang's commands. Mo Huang responded that it was fine for them to keep talking inside. The elder invited Mo Huang and his group inside. He asked Yang Ji if their sect had done something wrong as they came during their busy time. Young Ji laughed and wondered what the elder was talking about. He mentioned that the two experts had prepared something that he couldn't disclose, but he was there to give their sect a discount. In the future, their sect would have a 30% discount at the 1,000 Treasure Chamber of Commerce. The elder slapped the second elder, which made him curse at him. The elder mumbled that his hands felt pain and that he was not dreaming. After some time, at the Martial Reservoir Sect discussion hall, the elder asked about the teachings Mo Wang had for them. Mo Wang responded that it was nothing serious and that he just wanted to be the guardian of their sect. He was willing to send experts to teach their disciples. The elders were shocked at what Mo Wang said. Mo Wang asked if the three elders would be willing to accept his offers. Nervously, the elder stuttered and told Mo Wang that his kind of offer was giving him uneasiness. He mentioned that they were anxious as their sect master had just passed away. Mo Wang reassured them that they didn't have to be concerned. All the offers he made were simply because a senior had taken an interest in their sect and asked them to accept his offer wholeheartedly. He went on to say that their sect master was just there to aid their sect, and whoever became the sect master didn't concern him. The three elders had the same thought, seeing it as a great opportunity. If one of them became the sect master, they would definitely get great benefits. The elder informed them that Hao Wuchai's cultivation was low and he wasn't fit to lead the sect. He asked if they had to take the chance to become the sect master. The two elders agreed and mumbled that they would duel it out. After some time, explosions occurred in the arena, throwing the two elders out of the competition. The elder mumbled that since his two colleagues weren't as good as him, the position would happily be his. He thought about taking back the sect master pendant from Hao Wuchai so that he would be the rightful sect master of the sect. At Chen Pingin's residence in the mortal world, Chen Pingin noticed a vibration on his ring and received a message from the elder, stating that he needed to return quickly. He wondered what the sudden news was about and decided to go and have a look. Chen Pingin arrived in the god realm and noticed that the people there seemed obedient. He inquired about the urgent business the elder required him to attend. The elder informed him that he would now become the Martial Reservoir Sect's master and asked him to hand over his sect master pendant. Chen Pingin was perplexed by what was happening and why they were begging him to become the sect master. He believed that Mo Huang had given them many benefits that made them unafraid of dying. Chen Pingin gave the sect master pendant to the elder and told him that he was an earnest person and it would be best for him to become the sect master. He thought it was the perfect opportunity because he wanted to AFK since someone was helping him finish his mission. The elder assured Chen Pingin not to worry as he would never treat him unfairly. Dao Zhatian whispered to Mo Huang that the kid looked like Chen Pingin and wondered if he was his descendant. He inquired if they should prevent him from giving up the master position. Mo Huang responded that it was none of their business. He went on to say that he had tried to contact the dagger he gave to Chen Pingin and informed him that Hao Wuchai was Chen Pingin. It had to be part of his plan, to which Dao Zhatian understood. The third elder wondered if Mo Huang and Dao Zhatian knew who Hao Wuchai was. The elder informed the other elders that from that time on, he would be the dignified master of the sect. The third elder greeted the elder and thought it best to set things aside and ignore something that shouldn't be questioned. The elder laughed with enjoyment. After some time at the Martial Reservoir Sect, while in the sect master's room, a man shouted that there was trouble. A man called the elder and informed him that something had happened to the sect master. The elder asked the man to repeat what he had said. Trembling, the man informed the elder that he had just entered and saw the sect master on his chair with blood dripping from his mouth. The elder went in and was shocked at the sect master's dead body. After some time, the elder informed the other elder that it was the same poison that had killed the previous sect master. Furious, the second elder grumbled that he hadn't expected their sect's two god sovereigns to be enough to scare the intruder away. He wondered what they would do if it continued and asked the elder if they would just sit and wait for them to die. The elder informed him that he had already told the two god sovereign experts. However, compared to the intruder, what he was worried about was the death of their sect master, which the two god sovereign experts easily accepted. The second elder wondered what the elder meant. He asked the second elder if he thought it was strange that Hao Wuchai had handed over the sect master pendant so easily. He also mentioned that he found out the two experts seemed to know Hao Wuchai, leading him to believe that the elder's death had something to do with Hao Wuchai. At the God Pavilion Master's resting room, Mo Huang was furious that the new Martial Reservoir Sect Master had died and asked if it was one of their men who killed him. He wondered what was going on. Dao Zhatian responded that even though Chen Pingin became Hao Wuchai and Sect Master, he wasn't always in the sect, so the assassin couldn't find an opportunity to kill him. Confused, Mo Huang also wondered why the assassin didn't retreat when they had formed an alliance with the Martial Reservoir Sect. Dao Zhatian told Mo Huang that, after all, they had done something dishonorable, and in order to keep it a secret, he had employed a secret assassin. The assassin only received orders to kill and didn't even know he was working for the God Pavilion. Mo Huang was confused about why Dao Zhatian didn't call off the order, to which Dao Zhatian forgot. Furious, Mo Huang told Dao Zhatian that one was still and the other was stupid, and that the two of them were clowns. Anxious, Dao Zhatian advised Mo Huang that since they had made a mistake, they should make an offering to Chen Pingin and beg for forgiveness. Mo Huang responded that there was no need, and they could just pretend nothing happened after withdrawing their man. Dao Zhatian wondered what they would do if Chen Pingin blamed them. Mo Huang asked Dao Zhatian if he thought that Chen Pingin would get confused like him, and that he was an expert who used the heavens and earth to play chess and must have already expected it to happen. He went on to say that he would phrase it like what Chen Pingyan wanted, that he was truly unfathomable. Meanwhile, at Chen Pingyan's house, Chen Pingyan told Wooden Sword that since she made him laugh, he would give her the bronze sword. Wooden Sword thanked Chen Pingyan and told him that they would reminisce about the good times. Chen Pingyan mumbled that the relationship with Bronze Sword was so genuine that it made people envious. Jiang Yuxin arrived and asked Chen Pingyan who he was envious of and if it was possible that he disliked her. Blushing, Chen Pingyan told Jiang Yuxin what she was talking about and that she was incomparable. Hiding, Xiao Linger muttered about how Chen Pingyan and Jiang Yuxin could be so lovey-dovey and not fight. Even though she was there, it was like they were dumbfounded and couldn't see her. She asked the dog if he thought the same. The dog looked at her, making her tremble. The dog apologized to Xiao Linger for being patronizing while eating without listening to her. Enraged, Xiao Linger scolded the dog, saying that all he thought about was food. Meanwhile, Wooden Sword released a beam of light and told Bronze Sword that he actually dared to continue ignoring her warnings. Bronze Sword thought he was going to die because Wooden Sword was so angry. He reasoned that there was only one way he could persuade Wooden Sword that he had no relationship with Chopper. Bronze Sword confessed to Wooden Sword that he liked her and that when they first met, he was captivated by her charm and strength. Blushing, Wooden Sword told him to wait and warned that if he kept talking, she would hit him. Bronze Sword continued, saying that he was just a regular immortal weapon who had never known love, but since he met her, his world had never been the same. Flattered, Wooden Sword told Bronze Sword to shut up. He smirked and claimed that he was a genius and that he just had to make Wooden Sword believe that he liked her so she would think he didn't have a relationship with Chopper. Bronze Sword told her that he thought of her all the time and believed he had to be more dramatic to make Wooden Sword believe him. He proceeded to tell Wooden Sword that he was in love with her and that it had become a sickness with no cure. Blushing, Wooden Sword thought that although Bronze Sword was exaggerating, he sounded sincere and wondered if she had done something wrong. She claimed that with that much exaggeration, he must be lying and questioned how there could be weapons that fall in love with each other, causing harm. Upset, Wooden Sword clenched her fist and punched Bronze Sword, telling him to die. Meanwhile, Phoenix laughed and muttered about how Bronze Sword was such a liar for using that method to fool Wooden Sword. Peachtree retorted and told Phoenix that men could lie so easily. She asked Phoenix if he hadn't lied to her like Bronze Sword because her head wasn't in a good state. Phoenix disagreed, sweating, and told Peachtree that he would never lie and that he wasn't lying when he said he liked her. Peachtree looked away and told Phoenix that she didn't need his love. Phoenix thought that she was scary and told her that she wanted to hear that he liked her. Flattered, Peachtree covered her face and told Phoenix that it was impossible to believe it with just a few words. Phoenix was interrupted in their conversation as one of his subordinates asked him for help. He told Peachtree that his clan might have been found and they were calling for his help. He asked Jiang Yuxin to allow him to return and help them. Jiang Yuxin told Phoenix that his master's return had already been arranged but was disrupted by the agitated Phoenix who heard them calling for his help. Jiang Yuxin told Phoenix that she wouldn't stop him, however, if he was exposed. Not only would he be unable to return, but he might even die without her being able to help him. Phoenix understood and replied that he couldn't just watch and plead with Jiang Yuxin. He added that if he were able to return, he would continue his words for Peachtree. Phoenix flew away, leaving Peachtree clenching her fist. Peachtree knelt and asked Jiang Yuxin to allow her to follow Phoenix. She went on to say that if she didn't go with Phoenix, she might regret it for the rest of her life. Jiang Yuxin sighed and told Peachtree to be careful as she flew away. Jiang Yuxin called Chopper and told him to follow them. If there was a chance to cut off the predestined fate, he should think of a way to deal with it. Chopper understood. She thought that things were getting messy and hoped nothing bad would happen. Meanwhile, in the Chaos Realm, Phoenix arrived and mumbled that the rescue signal came from this place. His eyes grew wide, and he cursed, realizing it was all a trap. A man laughed and told Phoenix that he was too late and had been deceived. The man muttered that he didn't expect the stone he was holding could actually deceive Phoenix. Annoyed, Phoenix asked the man if he thought that a piece of trash like him could stop him. The man giggled and told Phoenix that he couldn't, but he could with the Heavenly Prison Array. Phoenix mumbled that activating the array costs several lives and wondered how the man could be so insane. The man retorted that it was their honor and asked Phoenix if he was still thinking about himself. He inquired whether the Phoenixes could be reborn from Nirvana and why they were afraid of death. Phoenix grunted and told the man that he was using the Heavenly Prison Array to trap his soul. He went on to say that he would never let the man use him to take him to Chen Pingyan. The man believed that the Phoenix wanted to kill him by burning his blood and letting his soul scatter, leading to suicide. He smirked and mumbled that his master had already predicted it and improved the Heavenly Prison Array. The man told Phoenix that he would let him feel the sensation of pain. Phoenix was stunned when he was struck by lightning. The man told Phoenix that he had lost. Peachtree interrupted, confronting the man for daring to attack Phoenix, and told him to die. She blasted a fireball, making the man leap back. The man claimed that, just as his master said, it was much easier to destroy the Heavenly Prison Array from the outside than from the inside. He smirked, as his master had already predicted that another god weapon would come along. Another stranger stabbed Peachtree from the back, surprising her that there was someone else. She coughed up blood and fell to the ground. Phoenix crawled towards Peachtree and cursed. Peachtree apologized and told Phoenix that she didn't regret what she did and that it was just unfortunate that she couldn't save him, and at least they could be together till the end. A huge vine emerged from the peach tree while they were holding hands, cursing the man. The man mumbled that they were both going to explode and that the heavenly prison array wouldn't hold it. Chopper smirked from far away and thought that it was his chance. He slashed the man and came down to the ground, helping both his friends. Phoenix told Chopper that he loved him. Peachtree interrupted and told Phoenix that she wouldn't allow it, to which Phoenix said that he was just joking. Annoyed, Chopper told the two to quit flirting and that they had to get out of the place. He cringed at the two couples. A glowing light spoke and told them that they couldn't leave. A hand of fire appeared, making Phoenix curse and mumble that the bastard had arrived to end them himself. Another glowing light responded that the old bastard was shameless. The two huge hands collided, and an unknown individual stated that he would make him pay 100-fold. In the mortal realm, Jang Yuxin put Phoenix down and mumbled that he had become a small yellow bird. She told Phoenix that she was going to get him medicine so he could recover properly, and when Chen Pinyin returns, she'll get a few drops of blood from him so he could recover faster. Phoenix and Peachtree thanked Jang Yuxin. The true dragon asked if they were alright, and the teacup mumbled that he was worried to death. The bronze sword also told them that he was glad they had returned safely. Annoyed, Peachtree told Phoenix that if it hadn't been for her and Chopper, he would have been a roasted chicken. And after she was seriously injured, she asked Phoenix how he planned to compensate her. Phoenix replied that he would give her an aged fine wine, to which Peachtree answered that it was insufficient. He offered to tell Peachtree an embarrassing story about the true dragon. Enraged, Peachtree told Phoenix that he was crazy, and if he wouldn't say that he was going to marry her. Phoenix blushed and told Peachtree if she was serious, to which Peachtree replied that if he was not willing, he better forget it. He leaned towards her and told her that he was willing, and when they were finally alright, they would ask Chen Pinyin for permission. Annoyed, the true dragon and the teacup cursed at the couple. At Chen Pinyin's home, Chen Pinyin arrived and mumbled that he didn't expect the Martial Reservoir sect leader to die. He added that fortunately, the leader gave the position to him, otherwise, it would have been him. He mentioned that in the past few days in the immortal world, he had found a decent immortal spiritual wood. In addition to the points he had collected, he could now control the power of the threads of heaven and earth. He thought about trying to control a few threads. Chen Pinyin started counting and was surprised to find that he could now control 14 threads. He considered returning to the god realm to find some mountains far from the sect to test his power. Jang Yuxin greeted Chen Pinyin and told him about a tradition from her hometown where newlyweds would drop a drop of blood into a sachet and hang it in the house to make their love last. She asked Chen Pinyin if he would be willing to do the same, as she wanted to be with him for a long time. Chen Pinyin agreed and pricked his finger with a needle, causing a drop of blood to fall. Jang Yuxin was happy and thanked Chen Pinyin. Chen Pinyin wondered if Jang Yuxin would also do the same. Wooden Sword arrived and called Chen Pinyin, who asked if she was visiting for the bronze sword. Wooden Sword confirmed and thanked Chen Pinyin for handing it to her. Meanwhile, the angry Wooden Sword told the bronze sword that last time he kept talking and asked him to settle the matter. The bronze sword thought that his confession last time didn't convince her and wondered if his acting wasn't good enough to win her over. He reasoned that he must act a bit more in love with her next time. The bronze sword told her that he had been waiting for her to come and torture him. Flattered, the wooden sword asked about what he had said. The bronze sword told her that he liked her and even if she tortured him, it would make him happy, confusing the girl. He asked the wooden sword not to take pity on him. The wooden sword told the bronze sword to say it again after she gave him a beating. After some time, the bronze sword was hurt but told her that when he thought of her torturing him, it made him feel joy. He asked the wooden sword to continue. Cringing, the wooden sword ran away and told him that she had something to do and would let him off for the time being. The bronze sword smirked and mumbled that he would not only clear up the relationship with Chopper, but could also make the wooden sword fear him and give up on torturing him. He flew and muttered that he was going to celebrate. Bronze Sword proudly told the dog that only he could think of such a method. Peachtree told Chopper that she didn't think the wooden sword would be fooled easily and wondered if he was going to warn Bronze Sword. Chopper told Peachtree to let Bronze Sword be happy for a while, and once the wooden sword realizes she's been tricked, he won't have a good life. Peachtree responded that Bronze Sword was unlucky for having a brother like Chopper, to which Phoenix agreed. Morning came, and Chen Pinyin informed Jang Yuxin that he was going out and might come back late. He thought of finding a faraway mountain to test his powers. Xiao Linger called Chen Pinyin and asked him if he could take her with him. Chen Pinyin responded that he had something to do. She told Chen Pinyin that she wouldn't bother him. Xiao Linger took Jang Yuxin's words that Chen Pinyin was going to the God Realm and that if she happened to meet Xia Sui, she would reluctantly speak to him. Jang Yuxin told Chen Pinyin to take Xiao Linger with him since she has nothing to do at home. Chen Pinyin believed that there wouldn't be any danger as he bought many treasures. He agreed and told Xiao Linger to behave, which made Xiao Linger jump out of joy. After a while, they arrived at the God Realm. Chen Pinyin thought that he spent some points to take him to some place, and he didn't know how far he was from the Martial Reservoir sect. A beam of light attacked them, which almost hit them, causing the mountain behind them to split. Worried, he asked Xiao Linger if she was alright. Xiao Linger told Chen Pinyin that she was fine. He he noticed that two strangers were dueling. Annoyed, Chen Pingyan mumbled that the two bastards had no sense of public morality. Chopper was also annoyed and asked Chen Pingyan if he wanted him to take care of the strangers. Chen Pingyan responded that there was no need as he'll do it himself. He gave Xiao Linger the broom and told her it would protect her, informing her that he was going to the stranger to ask for an explanation. The man told Chen Pingyan that he had quite the guts. Chen Pingyan responded to apologize to Xiao Linger as he scared her. The man grinned and told Chen Pingyan to tell his little sister to come, and he would apologize with his sword. Chen Pingyan became more upset and asked the man what he had just said. The man told Chen Pingyan that he was a fool and since he had disrupted his battle, he should pay with his life. The other man watched as Chen Pingyan unleashed his skills. A huge hand of fire engulfed the man, pushing him to the ground. The other man was shocked by what he saw. Chen Pingyan asked him if he also wanted to kill him. Trembling, the man told him that he would never dare to. Chen Pingyan considered him sensible and asked the man to follow him, to which the man understood. He noticed the broom that emitted a power countless times stronger than any god weapon and wondered how strong Chen Pingyan was. Chen Pingyan told the man to kneel and apologize. Wu Mu kneeled quickly and apologized to Chen Ping and Xiao Linger, hoping that they would forgive him. Xiao Linger grabbed Chen Pingyan and told him that she was fine and that he could let go of Wu Mu. Chen Pingyan understood and told Wu Mu to leave. Wu Mu thanked Chen Pingyan for being merciful. He bowed and quickly flew away, mumbling that he would now take his leave. A few seconds passed and Wu Mu was mumbling that he didn't think he would make it out alive. He noticed that his realm broke through to the God King Peak. He was cheerful and muttered that he had a double blessing at the time. Not only did his long-lasting enemy die, but his realm also broke through. He believed that all his blessings came from Chen Pingyan and wondered if he had been given an opportunity. Meanwhile, in the God realm, a man and a woman were looking for someone in the God spiritual realm to hunt the blue lightning tiger in the monster beast mountain, and they agreed to split the loot evenly. Chen Pingyan called them out and told them that his strength was that of a God spiritual peak realm and asked if he could join them. The man was confused and told Chen Pingyan that he was just at the crossing stage and that he had even brought his little sister. Chen Pingyan informed them that he used artifacts to hide his cultivation and that if he didn't have the strength, he wouldn't be talking to them about dying in the mountains. He believed that from the attack he had just made, he shouldn't be too far from the God's spiritual realm. He told them that he would take care of Xiao Linger and they didn't have to worry about her. The man informed Chen Pingyan that the Monster Beast Mountains were not a place for a picnic. The woman grabbed the man and told Chen Pingyan to wait as they discussed it. She pleaded with the man to let Chen Pingyan join them. The man warned her that while they could handle the blue lightning tiger, it would be better to team up with more fighters. The woman added that they were from the Wu family and there was no one who could harm them. She mentioned that if he saw how adorable Xiao Linger was, she wanted to take her with them. Blushing, she added that Chen Pingyan was handsome and that she might have a chance to gain a little sister, and getting married wouldn't be bad for her either. Meanwhile, in the God realm, Chen Pingyan and the group were walking. Chen Pingyan thought about taking Xiao Linger out once in a while. He asked the man to tell him about the Monster Beast Mountain since he was an outsider who didn't know much. Dejected, the man couldn't accept what had occurred. Chen Pingyan was perplexed, wondering what was going on and why the man appeared to be lost in thought. He believed that the man had something on his mind and decided not to disturb him. Chen Pingyan told the man that he would just go and ask his sister. Enraged, the man told Chen Pingyan that he would instead tell him and ask him to stay away from his sister. Still puzzled, Chen Pingyan asked the man what he meant. The man mused and informed Chen Pingyan that he had asked the right person about the Monster Beast Mountains, that their Wu family was one of the strongest in their city, and their ancestor Wu Dejin was at the God King Peak realm. He went on to say that no one knew the mountains except them, and as far as he knew, their ancestor came to challenge the double-winged red lion, and that as long as the Beast Monster King had been eliminated, the Beast Monster Mountains would be like a garden for their Wu family. The woman called her brother and told him not to hold Chen Pingyan while talking. She asked them to come closer as they had found traces of the blue lightning tiger. Chen Pingyan and the man ran towards them. The blue lightning tiger appeared and confronted them. The man mumbled that they couldn't handle the blue lightning tiger as it had extraordinary blood. The woman told Chen Pingyan to take Xiao Linger away and that they would hold the beast and meet up back where they started. The man started counting and attacked the tiger. The woman leaped and threw a punch towards the blue lightning tiger, however, it dodged. The blue lightning tiger attacked the woman, which made the man run after her with concern. Chen Pingyan summoned Chopper, but a beam of light shot from Chen Pingyan's back, striking the tiger and melting its skin. The Wu siblings turned to face the source of the attack, Xiao Linger. Xiao Linger asked the Wu siblings if they were alright. The man asked Xiao Linger back if she was at the God Sovereign Peak realm based on the strength of her attack. Xiao Linger agreed and informed them that she would be breaking through to the God realm soon. Xiao Lion assumed she was only in the God spiritual realm and quickly realized she was trash for daring to adopt a genius little sister. Chen Pingyan asked Xiao Linger why she hadn't told him about her high cultivation and wondered how she cultivated. Xiao Linger responded that Chen Pingyan never asked her about it, and as for cultivating, she ate watermelon. Doubtful, Chen Pingyan told her that he didn't believe her. Xiao Linger convinced Chen Pingyan that she was telling the truth, explaining that the watermelon in their yard had more spiritual energy than spiritual medicine, so the watermelon she ate increased her cultivation. Chen Pingyan wondered if the fertilizer the system gave was amazing. Xiao Linger told him that it was also because she had a unique physique, and if it were anything else, it wouldn't have that kind of effect. Chen Pingyan understood and thought that he had to force Zhang Yuxin to eat more watermelons, and it didn't matter if it didn't work. The man comforted his sister and told her not to take it to heart. A man called out to the two siblings and told them that the ancestor was hunting the king of the mountains and that the beast of the mountains was agitated. He wondered what they were doing in the mountains at such a dangerous time. They greeted the man and informed him that Xiao Lan needed materials from the blue lightning tiger to cultivate, and they thought it wasn't strong, so they ventured into the mountains. Wu Longtao, surprised by the tiger's irregular blood, wondered if they had managed to kill it and if their cultivation had improved. Embarrassed, the Wu siblings told Wu Longtao that they weren't the ones who killed it, and if it wasn't for Chen Pingyan and Xiao Linger, they would have been in danger. Wu Longtao doubted that Chen Pingyan's cultivation was at the tribulation stage, and as for Xiao Linger, he was unable to see her cultivation. He wondered how they managed to kill the tiger. Chen Yuan informed Wu Longtao that it was because they were using an artifact to hide their cultivation, to which Xiao Lan agreed. Wu Longtao asked Chen Yuan if what he said was true. He thought that he must not let such talent go and that he must find a way to invite her to the Wu family. Wu Longtao called Chen Pingyan and Xiao Linger and thanked them for saving the Wu siblings' lives. Chen Pingyan told Wu Longtao not to mind it, as it was just like raising his hands. However, Wu Longtao still insisted that they should leave their address and that the Wu family would come to thank them. Chen Pingyan informed Wu Longtao that the two of them were just traveling and did not live anywhere. Wu Longtao grabbed Chen Pingyan's hand while enthusiastically asking him if they would like to take the Wu family name and join them. Chen Pingyan unhand himself and rejected Wu Longtao, saying that they were used to being alone and didn't need to join any factions. Upset, Wu Longtao claimed that Chen Pingyan had bad manners and couldn't believe that he was rejected. He thought that it was a pity that such a talented person wasn't from the Wu family. Wu Longtao asked Chen Pingyan what his cultivation was, as he had heard from Chen Yuan that Xiao Linger was already at the peak of God Sovereign. Chen Pingyan answered that Xiao Linger was just more talented than he was and that he was only at the peak of the god's spiritual realm. Wu Longtao told Chen Pingyan that he didn't have to be modest. He informed Chen Pingyan that he had some work to do, so he bid him farewell. Wu Longtao believed that since Chen Pingyan refused to join them, he would just force them. After some time, a man was slaughtering the beasts. Wu Longtao called him and asked what the matter was. Wu Longtao greeted the man and informed him that he had encountered a young genius who was about to break through to the god realm, and that she had an older brother who was in the god spiritual realm. But unfortunately, they were unwilling to join their family. Wu Longtao got an idea to kill Chen Pingyan and wipe Xiao Linger's memories in order for the Wu family to become well known. The ancestor asked Wu Longtao if he wanted him to take action. Wu Longtao grinned and told the ancestor that he would be reliable, and even if Chen Pingyan had been hiding his cultivation, he didn't think there was anyone who could shake him. In the end, the ancestor agreed to Wu Longtao's plan. At the God Realm Monster Beast Mountains, Chen Yuan gave his gratitude to Chen Pingyan and Xiao Linger. Chen Pingyan told him not to worry as he informed him that he and Xiao Linger would part ways as they still had other things to do. Suddenly, Wu Longtao arrived with the ancestor, telling him that Chen Pingyan and Xiao Linger were still present. The ancestor ordered Wu Longtao to invite them again, and if they refused, he had to report back to him. Wu Longtao bowed as he agreed to the ancestor's order. Moments later, Wu Longtao disappeared and appeared in front of Chen Pingyan and Xiao Linger, who told them to wait. Puzzled, Chen Pingyan asked Wu Longtao if there was something he needed. Wu Longtao bowed and asked Chen Pingyan if he could reconsider joining their Wu family. Annoyed, Chen Pingyan responded that he had already given him his answer, which made Wu Longtao curse. Chen Pingyan's face was dumbfounded after what he had heard. Chen Yuan was nervous and told Wu Longtao that Chen Pingyan had already said he didn't want to join their faction. The two siblings then stepped in front and went on to scold Wu Longtao, stating that they wouldn't repay kindness with enmity, which Xiao Lan agreed with. Wu Longtao raised his hand and flicked it, causing the siblings to fly away, telling them not to meddle in other people's affairs. He then mocked them, telling them that they were incompetent and that the ancestor would take action instead since Chen Pingyan was being stubborn. A beam of light came down, making Chen Pingyan on guard. The ancestor appeared, and his eyes widened after he realized that it was Chen Pingyan who was in front of him, which was also the same for Chen Pingyan. Wu Longtao was still talking trash as the ancestor disappeared beside him out of fear. Wu Longtao was shocked when he realized that the ancestor was bowing on all fours. The ancestor trembled and told Chen Pingyan that he had committed a sin and deserved 1,000 deaths to repent. After some moments, Wu Longtao was still baffled by the occurrences as he looked back and forth towards Chen Pingyan and the ancestor. His face was in despair, having a thought that he was done for. Chen Pingyan wondered if he was really that strong and realized that the ancestor was the Wu family's ancestor who was at the peak of the God King realm. The ancestor's head raised and bowed again, telling Chen Pingyan that he shouldn't have listened to what Wu Longtao had suggested, who had wanted to take Xiao Linger, and since it had come to that point, he would give Wu Longtao at his disposal, and he wouldn't dare to protest. Chen Pingyan's face became serious as he believed that Wu Longtao had wanted to take Xiao Linger away from him and claimed that he had to teach him a lesson. He then told the ancestor that he had an idea of what he wanted. The ancestors were distraught. He bowed again and responded that he understood as he called Wu Longtao and told him that he was the one that he couldn't stand. Chen Yuan asked the ancestor to wait and kneeled with his sister Xiao Lan, begging Chen Pingyan if he could spare Wu Longtao for their sake. Chen Pingyan looked at them with a sad expression, wondering why. He then sighed and agreed to spare Wu Longtao and ordered them that they could handle the rest. Wu Longtao bowed to the ground and thanked Chen Pingyan for being merciful. Upset, the ancestor demoted Wu Longtao as the clan elder and informed him that he would be the one to decide his own punishment when he returned and asked if he had any complaints. He then turned to look at Chen Yuan and thought that he hadn't expected that he would be so righteous to dare plead for Wu Longtao's life at the risk of angering Chen Pingyan, which he eventually listened to. The ancestor smiled and appointed Chen Yuan as the new elder of the Wu family. He then realized that he had also called Chen Pingyan's senior brother and believed that he had also been recognized by him. Chen Yuan couldn't believe what he had heard and asked the ancestor again. The ancestor asked what Chen Pingyan had felt about his suggestion. Chen Pingyan permitted the ancestor's idea, and since the matter had been resolved, he hoped that they would behave before he flew away. The three then simultaneously thought that Chen Pingyan had been truly magnanimous. As time flew by, Chen Pingyan and Xiao Linger arrived at the mortal realm. Chen Pingyan asked Xiao Linger to cut some watermelons for him as they stepped out of the portal. Xiao Linger ran as she agreed, cutting watermelons. Chen Pingyan called out to Zhang Yuxin, who was about to leave to return later because they were having watermelon. Anxious, Zhang Yuxin told Chen Pingyan that she had just eaten some snacks, so she wasn't hungry. Chen Pingyan held her hands and leaned closer to her, telling her she could eat as much as she could, informing her that Xiao Linger had a boost in her cultivation just by eating watermelons. He went on to say that, while Xiao Linger informed him, he was concerned that it might not work for others and that even if it only strengthened the body, he would find a way to extend life so they could be together for a long time as he dragged Zhang Yuxin along with him. Zhang Yuxin blushed after hearing what Chen Pingyan had said and responded that he was silly. Moments later, Xiao Linger served the watermelon. Chen Pingyan stood up and told Zhang Yuxin she could eat all the watermelons, which irritated Xiao Linger. Zhang Yuxin sighed and claimed that she knew that it would happen. When night arrived at Chen Pingyan's front yard, Bronze Sword cheerfully yelled that the wooden sword had not arrived for him, claiming that he was free. He then called Chopper and told him that he was now free from allegations. Bronze Sword then told Chopper how to handle a woman before being abruptly interrupted by a hand grabbing him in the back and asking him how. Wooden Sword appeared and muttered that Bronze Sword appeared energetic, leaving Bronze Sword stunned. Wooden Sword dragged Bronze Sword around, telling him that he had to come with her as she had something to say to him. Bronze Sword sought help from Chopper, who prayed sarcastically for Chen Pingyan to protect him. After some time, both the Bronze Sword and the Wooden Sword arrived in the middle of the forest. Bronze Sword was perplexed as to why the Wooden Sword did not attack him, despite believing that it was a new type of torture method. Anxious, the Bronze Sword asked the Wooden Sword what she wanted to talk about. Wooden Sword spoke and asked Bronze Sword if he had been cursing her in his mind after she had bullied him for so many days. The frightened Bronze Sword disagreed, telling the Wooden Sword that he would never have cursed at her. The Wooden Sword then felt at ease and informed the Bronze Sword that after she had become enraged, she had realized Chopper made an excuse to get rid of her, bothering him. She then added that her master had told her to reflect, as she had recognized her mistakes and shouldn't have taken it out on him. The Bronze Sword became stiff as the Wooden Sword held him, asking her why she was telling him all of that. The Wooden Sword responded, telling the Bronze Sword that she wouldn't bother him anymore, which made him ask if what she was saying was true. Before the Wooden Sword flew, she informed the Bronze Sword that she would return in 2 days to apologize and compensate him and bid her farewell. Looking dispirited, the Bronze Sword wondered why he had felt empty, as it had been a good thing that the Wooden Sword wouldn't bother him anymore. Another day at Chen Pingyan's home, Chopper noticed the Bronze Sword sobbing around the corner, wondering what was wrong with him. Phoenix joined in the mockery of Chopper, saying that a forever single person wouldn't understand what had happened to the Bronze Sword, who had fallen for the Wooden Sword. Annoyed, Chopper retorted, telling Phoenix that not everyone was a masochist like him. He then went on to say that the Bronze Sword was his little brother and that he had to be tough like him. The Bronze Sword then mumbled that life as a sword had been boring and told Chopper that if he said they had been in a relationship, the Wooden Sword would beat him up again, which made Chopper question him. Chopper was taken aback by what Bronze Sword had said, asking him if he truly loved the Wooden Sword. Bronze Sword scratched his face as he hadn't really understood what love was. He went on to say that, while the Wooden Sword had always been angry, she had been cute when she was angry. Chopper's jaw dropped after hearing what he had heard, and he asked Bronze Sword why the Wooden Sword had returned, wondering if the Wooden Sword would get back on her word. He then informed Bronze Sword that they would continue their conversation later, after informing him that he needed to hide first. Chopper was worried as he pursued Bronze Sword, telling him that he kept talking about love but eventually fled. Chopper was about to grab the Bronze Sword when he suddenly vanished, causing him to lose his balance. He then heard the voice of Bronze Sword conversing with Wooden Sword. whom he had not seen in a long time. Chopper felt cringe in his body as he heard what he had heard. Wooden Sword arrived and informed Bronze Sword that she was only visiting to compensate him, informing him that she would no longer bother him and that he didn't need to keep up his act of liking her to embarrass her. Bronze Sword stutteringly told Wooden Sword just to hear his explanation. Wooden Sword then gave him a box and informed Bronze Sword that it was a spiritual metal stone and that if he used it to sharpen his sword form, his spiritual body would be unable to rid itself of any impurities. She then added that the spiritual metal stone was a great benefit for his cultivation and asked him to consider it as her apology. Wooden Sword was about to say something to the Bronze Sword as Bronze Sword had something to say to her as well. She then informed everyone that she had to accompany her master to the Chaos Realm and that she didn't know when she would return, and that she was also visiting them to bid her farewell. Peachtree then cautioned the Wooden Sword, while the enraged Phoenix assumed her master had taken his rage out on her, and the Teapot cautioned her as well. Chopper then told her to contact them if something had happened. Wooden Sword was flattered that everyone was worried and assured them that she would be careful. She then floated and told them to take care. Bronze Sword approached her as she was about to leave, asking the Wooden Sword to wait as he grabbed Wooden Sword's clothes. The Wooden Sword asked him if there had been something wrong. The Bronze Sword then told her that he hadn't been pretending anymore, unlike before, to embarrass her. He realized that he had wanted to be with her, and even if it had been embarrassing, the Bronze Sword didn't care. He gave her the box back and told her that he hadn't needed it. He went on to ask if she would let him pursue her if she had felt bad about bullying him. Blushing, the Wooden Sword smacked the Bronze Sword, asking him who had given him the qualifications to choose. The Bronze Sword asked her to be gentle. She then returned her gift to him and told him he could keep it since she wasn't going to take it back. Still insisting, the Bronze Sword asked her one more time if she would let him pursue her. The Wooden Sword took a float and informed the Bronze Sword that she had always been warlike and if he had had the strength to fight her, she would have thought highly of him. The Bronze Sword, still blushing after his sudden confession, asked the Wooden Sword to wait for a month to see him improve, to which the Wooden Sword agreed before fleeing away. The Bronze Sword waved and told the Wooden Sword to remember him in a month as it had been their promise. The cheerful Bronze Sword noticed the Chopper's grimace and asked him what had been wrong with his expression. Concerned, Chopper questioned the Bronze Sword on how he had dared to speak to the Wooden Sword and if he hadn't been afraid she'd cut him in half. The Bronze Sword was perplexed as to what Chopper was talking about because he had known the Wooden Sword to be a cute and gentle sword spirit who would never do anything cruel. This made Chopper shocked and confusion. Chopper then raised a thumbs up mockingly and told the Bronze Sword he had been awesome. After some time, Chen Pingyan informed Zhang Yuxin that he was leaving, to which he was told to wait. Concerned, Chen Pingyan asked her what was wrong. With a worried look, Zhang Yuxin apologized to him and informed him that she had lost the sachet that had his drop of blood. Chen Pingyan smiled and told Zhang Yuxin not to worry as he could just make another one when he returned. Zhang Yuxin's eyes became cheerful as she heard the great news and asked Chen Pingyan if he could do it at that moment, to which he agreed. Chen Pingyan took a needle and pricked one of his fingers, causing blood to drop onto the sachet Zhang Yuxin was holding. Chen Pingyan was curious and asked Zhang Yuxin how she had lost the sachet that she had been holding in the room. Fearful of being caught, Zhang Yuxin reasoned that the sachet had simply vanished. Chen Pingyan noticed that Zhang Yuxin was fidgeting and asked her if she was hiding something from him, to which she denied his accusations. She gave up and told him that she was admitting that she had been hiding something from him as Chen Pingyan glared at her. Zhang Yuxin then told Chen Pingyan that the sachet wasn't actually lost, and the reason why she had asked him for another drop of his blood was that their customer needed 100 drops of his blood, and she didn't want to scare him, so she hadn't said it directly. The confused Chen Pingyan asked her if the people in her family were devils, to which she replied that she couldn't help it. Chen Pingyan grinned and assured her that she didn't need to hide it from him as it was just a bit of blood. He went on to say that if it meant they could be together forever, he would gladly give her his blood, telling her she didn't need to collect it drop by drop because it was inconvenient, and asking her to wait until he returned because he would use a knife to cut his arm so she would have enough of his blood. Zhang Yuxin blushed after what Chen Pingyan said. Chen Pingyan waved his goodbye and assured her that he would help her finish those 100 sachets, and informed her that he would return early. Zhang Yuxin's face became red as she was flattered by Chen Pingyan mumbling that she had just wanted to scare him to get her revenge for forcing him to eat watermelon. However, she couldn't believe that he was still proactive. She then covered her face and thought that she was so ashamed and wanted to find a hole to crawl in. Minutes later, she tied the sachet on the peach tree, and Phoenix told her that with Chen Pingyan's blood it would be enough for her to recover. Zhang Yuxin, still embarrassed, wondered what reason she would use to keep it hidden when night fell. Meanwhile, at Wu's house in the God Realm, a massive bolt of lightning struck one of the houses. An enraged man asked for the Wu's family ancestor to come out. The ancestor came out, introducing himself as Wu Dejin, and respectfully asked the man what teaching he brought. Wan Zhongyi asked Wu Dejin if he was the one who killed Lai Xiding. Shocked, he couldn't believe that his 1,000-year archenemy Lai Xiding had a master at the God Sovereign Realm. He then wondered why Wan Zhongyi was looking for him as Lai Xiding was killed by Chen Pingyan. He then believed that Wan Zhongyi coming at him was Chen Pingyan's test for him and claimed that he must not reveal anything. Wu Dejin then replied to Wang Zhongyi that he was right, that he was the one who killed Lai Xiding and was the one who told him that he was inferior to others. Wang Zhongyi cast a key palm and attacked Wu Dejin, calling him arrogant. Wang Zhongyi then raised Wu Dejin with a huge hand, threatening him that he would kill him to avenge his disciple. As Wu Dejin was being crushed by the huge hand, he coughed a huge amount of blood as he believed that he was going to die, and with his hoarse voice, he called out for Chen Pinggan, asking to be saved, and mumbled that since it was a test, he believed that Chen Pinggan must have been observing him. Annoyed, Wang Zhongyi wondered who Wu Dejin was talking about and told him that there would be no one to save him. As the occurrences happened, a portal appeared in the sky and a foot stepped out inside it, making Wang Zhongyi lose control of his huge key hand, which made Wu Dejin escape from his grasp and coughing. Wang Zhongyi then thought if the one who appeared was the senior Wu Dejin was calling for. He went on to believe that no matter how he saw it, Chen Pinggan was still at the tribulation stage, which made him a mystery for him. As the three of them floated, Chen Pinggan noticed Wu Dejin and wondered what had happened, believing that he had come at the wrong time. Wu Dejin clung to Chen Pinggan's legs as he begged him for help. Chen Pinggan held him and told him not to panic, wanting him to explain what had happened in detail, to which Wu Dejin agreed. Fuming, Wu Dejin then thought that Chen Pinggan had been absolute with details and claimed that he had been tested. He then asked Chen Pinggan if he remembered the old man in black who had offended Xiao Linger and had spoken rudely towards him when they had first met. Chen Pinggan confirmed Wu Dejin's claims and added that he had killed Lai Xiding with a slap. Wu Dejin pointed to Wang Zhongyi and told Chen Pinggan that he had been the master of Lai Xiding and that he had mistakenly believed Wu Dejin had been the one who had killed his disciple. Wu Dejin went on to say that he hadn't wanted to reveal Chen Pinggan's identity, so he had accepted the blame and had nearly been killed by Wang Zhongyi. He went on to say that it hadn't mattered to him if he had died, he had just been afraid of the Wu family getting involved, which was why he had asked Chen Pinggan to be the Wu family's master. As Wu Dejin gritted his teeth, he thought that Chen Pinggan valued Dong Yuan, and if the Wu family got involved, he believed that Chen Pinggan would take action. Chen Pinggan patted Wu Dejin's shoulder, telling him not to worry as he would do him justice. He then thought that the reason he had come to the Wu family had been to ask them for help to collect a large amount of immortal spiritual wood, and the incident that had been happening had been his fault. Since Wu Dejin had taken the blame for him, he just couldn't ignore him. Chen Pinggan believed that his strength must have been at the God Sovereign realm, as he had been able to kill someone at the God King realm with just a slap. He added that even though his treasures had all been top-grade immortal weapons, Chopper's strength had been endless, and he wondered if he could try to control him. As he was about to take Chopper out, he told Wang Zhongyi about the Wu family's situation, but was interrupted by Wang Zhongyi's threatening voice, who told him not to meddle in their business. Wang Zhongyi claimed that Wu Dejin's attitude towards Chen Pinggan looked genuine as he believed that Chen Pinggan had hidden his cultivation and must have been at the God Sovereign stage. As Wang Zhongyi crossed his arms, he told Chen Pinggan that no one could stop him from killing anyone except for a God Emperor, and advised him to make his decision. Wang Zhongyi then claimed that it was not worth provoking someone for no reason and hoped that Chen Pinggan would know better and leave. Chen Pinggan was on edge and thought that after Wang Zhongyi used such words, he believed that he must be strong, claiming that it would be troublesome. He then thought that Xiao Linger had fun with Xiao Lan. He couldn't ignore the Wu family's impending destruction, and it would be difficult for him to explain to Xiao Linger when she asked him. Chen Pinggan sighed and thought that he would try tricking Wang Zhongyi first. He also crossed his arms and mocked Wang Zhongyi, telling him that he should be the one advising him for his own good. He went on to say that with his cultivation, Wang Zhongdai wasn't worthy of knowing his name. However, it wouldn't hurt him to tell him at the time being. Chen Pinggan smirked and thought that in order to scare Wang Zhongyi, he needed his name to sound as powerful as possible. He then pointed his finger in the sky and declared himself to be the invincible supreme being of the upper realm, and a massive bolt of lightning struck behind him the moment he announced himself. Wang Zhongyi and Wu Dejin stared at Chen Pinggan in awe. Wang Zhongyi's eyes grew wide as the crash of the lightning was chaotic. Chen Pinggan then claimed that the god realms were far too weak as they were unable to handle his name. He then asked if Wang Zhongyi still had any complaints as the matter of the Wu family was now in his hands. As he was pretending, Chen Pinggan then thought that the lightning just scared him and that he was lucky that he quickly played it off. Wang Zhongyi gritted his teeth and wondered if Chen Pinggan was really the strongest from the upper realm. He then closed his eyes and wouldn't believe Chen Pinggan that there was no such person that would come to the god realm so easily, claiming that it must have been a coincidence. He then thought that Lai Xiding's death wouldn't have been in vain as he was about to get angry. Another portal appeared. A voice was calling for Chen Pinggan. Wang Chenglin came out inside the portal and greeted Chen Pinggan, telling him that his elegant manner hadn't yet changed and it had been a while since they had seen each other. Confused, Chen Pinggan asked Wang Chenglin how he had known his location. Wang Chenglin responded that there had been a level of chaos that he had never seen before, so he had assumed Chen Pinggan had been nearby and had come to greet him. Chen Pinggan then praised Wang Chenglin, telling him that he had been sharp. Wang Chenglin then thanked Chen Pingyan for his praises. Chen Pingyan then thought that his luck had been amazing and that based on his experience of fooling people, talking big had been more powerful when spoken by others. Wang Zhongyi's face was in distress. Chen Pingyan then told Wang Chenglin that it was up to him to tell Wang Zhongyi the news since he had just arrived, to which Wang Chenglin understood. Wang Chenglin realized that it had been Wang Zhongyi and told him it had been a while since they had seen each other. Wang Zhongyi was shocked as he also realized that it had been the Eternal Select's ancestor Wang Chenglin. As the two acquaintances met each other, Wang Chenglin laughed and walked towards Wang Zhongyi, telling him not to act distant. He then leaned in closer to Wang Chenglin, telling him that Chen Pingyan had forced him to explain everything to him and that he believed he was also one of Chen Pingyan's pawns. Wang Chenglin then told Wang Zhongyi that he had given him permission to call him Brother Wang because they were now both Chen Pingyan's pawns. Wang Zhongyi's face became serious as he questioned Wang Chenglin about being Chen Pingyan's pawns. Wang Chenglin then told him that it was their greatest honor to be Chen Pingyan's pawns. Wang Zhongyi took Wang Chenglin's hands and told him that he was a cultivator who believed in himself. He went on to say that he would rather die than be Chen Pingyan's pawn waiting to be controlled. Wang Chenglin humorously responded, telling Wang Zhongyi not to be so stern in his words. He then put his hand on Wang Zhongyi's shoulder and told him that he knew he had some suspicions about Chen Pingyan and invited him to come and inform him. Wang Chenglin then told Wang Zhongyi about meeting Chen Pingyan and praised him, saying that his disciple had made it because of him, also informing about Chen Pingyan's possession of divine weapons that were 1,000 times stronger. As Chen Pingyan was listening, he felt exaggerated by what Wang Chenglin was telling him, stating that their imaginations were wild. Wu Dejin bowed to Chen Pingyan and told him that his perception was correct, that he was indeed powerful. Chen Pingyan then told them to stop as he didn't care about the small details. He then thought that he was not sure what kind of horrendous stories they would make up if it continued, so he told them to stop. Wang Chenglin agreed and patted Wang Zhongyi, telling him that that was all he was going to tell him as Chen Pingyan wanted to lay low, and asked him to think about being a pawn of his. Wang Zhongyi looked at Wang Chenglin, then turned his gaze towards Chen Pingyan and took Wang Chenglin's hands off him, stating that he didn't need to, as the answer was right in front of him. He then moved closer towards Chen Pingyan and called him senior, which made Chen Pingyan caught off guard. He then bowed on all fours, asking Chen Pingyan if he could let him be his dog. Shocked, both Wang Chenglin and Wu Dejin thought that Wang Zhongyi was a flexible person and wondered why they had never thought of becoming Chen Pingyan's dog as a way to pledge their loyalty. Chen Pingyan sighed and grabbed Wang Zhongyi's shoulders gently, telling him that he needed pawns, not a dog. He then informed him that if he wanted to be one, he could go and accomplish the mission that he was given by others. Wang Zhongyi then thanked Chen Pingyan. Chen Pingyan then informed them that the reason why he visited was because he needed a lot of immortal soul wood for their plan, and that therefore he hoped that everyone could go and collect them for him. The three cheerfully agreed, assuring Chen Pingyan that they would do their best. Chen Pingyan then summoned another portal and told them to go on as he had things to do. Wang Zhongyi and Wu Dejin bid their farewell to Chen Pingyan. A golden portal appeared after Chen Pingyan was gone, and a foot stepped out inside it. A man appeared beyond the portal, asking them if Chen Pingyan was gone. Wang Zhongyi was surprised at the sudden appearance of the God Emperor and asked him if he knew about Chen Pingyan. The God Emperor approved and informed them that he was Chen Pingyan's godson, and that if it wasn't for Chen Pingyan, he wouldn't be in his position. Wang Zhongyi nodded and thought that he couldn't believe that the Divine Emperor came all for Chen Pingyan, and that Wang Chenglin, who told him about Chen Pingyan, was correct that being a pawn of Chen Pingyan was an honor. After a while at Chen Pingyan's home, a couple of spiritual Bayan were scattered on the bed as Chen Pingyan was meditating. Chen Pingyan then mumbled that his plan of making the people from the Divine Realm collect immortal soul wood for him. He then blushed, thinking that the divine soul wood they had gathered for him made his divine consciousness stronger, and that at the moment, he had already mastered 1,000 powers of heaven and earth, as he thought that the world would shake upon his punch. Chen Pingyan was amused and touched his face as he couldn't stop his expression. As he summoned the system, he then noticed that his mission on upgrading the rank of Wu Kai sect had been completed, which made him wonder how. The system then notified him that his mission had been completed successfully, and that his 2 main realms had been upgraded to peak mastery as a reward. Chen Pingyan's mood became brighter as he felt the feeling of an ability boost and thought that it was awesome. He was then curious about what his other reward was as the system said it was a special reward and that he would love it. The system then notified him that his special reward had been sent and that the next discovery area had been opened, and he was instructed to check it. He then tapped the system and wondered what was so great about the new mission area. Chen Pingyan's eyes grew wider as he saw that the next destination would be Earth.